Update-2. You're not qualified to work here, my uncle said, rejecting my application, family or not. Today, as their biggest client, I'm canceling our $50 million contract. Let's see who's qualified now. The result was, the board was already gathering upstairs, early, for once. I murmured, stepping into the executive elevator, amazing what the threat of financial ruin can do for punctuality. The boardroom was indeed full when I entered, the tension thick enough to cut. Uncle Harold sat at the head of the table, his usual commanding presence diminished. Peter huddled with the company's lawyers, his face ashen. The independent board members clustered together, shooting suspicious glances at the Mason family members. My team of analysts filed in behind me, each carrying detailed reports on Mason Technologies' true financial state. I'd spent 5 years placing key people throughout their company, gathering evidence, waiting for this moment. "Good morning," I said pleasantly, taking my place at the podium. "Shall we begin?" "Sarah." Uncle Harold's voice had lost its usual condescension, replaced by something close to desperation. "Before we start, perhaps we could speak privately." "I think we've had enough private family discussions." I nodded to my team. "Please distribute the reports." The sound of papers being passed around filled the room, followed by sharp intakes of breath as board members began reading. This is impossible," one director muttered. "These numbers can't be right." "Oh, they're right," I confirmed, pulling up my presentation. "Let's start with the creative accounting, shall we?" "Peter, would you like to explain why $8 million in losses were classified as operational expenses?" Peter's lawyer tried to intervene, but I continued. "Or perhaps we should discuss the inflated client numbers, the hidden debts. The fact that, without SM Industries contracts, Mason Technologies is effectively insolvent." "You're trying to destroy us," Peter accused, his voice cracking. "Your own family," I raised an eyebrow. "Family? Like when you told the entire industry I wasn't qualified to work here. Or when Uncle Harold said I'd never understand real business." "That was 5 years ago," Uncle Harold protested. "Yes, it was. And in those 5 years, I built a company 3 times the size of Mason Technologies. While you were busy protecting the family legacy, I was creating my own." I clicked to the next slide, a detailed breakdown of how dependent they were on my contracts. 47% of your revenue comes from SM Industries, I noted. "Revenue that will disappear when I cancel our contracts next week." The room erupted in chaos. Board members shouted questions. Lawyers huddled together, frantically reviewing documents. And Peter, finally showing his true colors, burst into tears. "You can't do this," Uncle Harold stood up, his face red. "We'll sue." "On what grounds?" I smiled coldly. "That your rejected niece built a better company than you. That your son's financial fraud was discovered. Please, try. My lawyers would love to depose Peter about those creative accounting practices." A senior board member cleared his throat. "Mr. Mason, given these revelations, the board will need to discuss leadership changes." "Leadership changes?" Peter's voice rose hysterically. "This is our company." "Actually," I interrupted, "after your contracts with SM Industries end, it won't be much of a company at all." I pulled out a thick envelope and placed it on the table. Inside, you'll find 2 options. Option 1, Mason Technologies agrees to a complete restructuring. Peter resigns, the board appoints new independent leadership, and we maintain a scaled-down business relationship. And Option 2? Uncle Harold asked quietly. "I cancel all contracts immediately, alert the SEC to Peter's creative accounting, and watch Mason Technologies collapse." I checked my watch. "You have 1 hour to decide." "This isn't business," Peter spat. "This is revenge." "No, cousin. This is exactly what you taught me business was, ruthless, unforgiving, and exclusively for those who are qualified." I gathered my things. "I'll be in my office, the CEO's office you once said I'd never be good enough to occupy." I left them there, surrounded by evidence of their failures and corruption. Within minutes, my phone was flooded with messages. "Mom, how could you do this to your uncle? Dad, the family name will be ruined. Various cousins, you've destroyed everything." I ignored them all and instead opened an old email, the rejection letter Uncle Harold had sent 5 years ago. "Dear Sarah, while we appreciate your interest in Mason Technologies, we feel you lack the qualifications and business acumen necessary for our organization. Perhaps you should consider a less demanding career path. Sincerely, Harold Mason." I printed it out and placed it on what would soon be my new desk. The board, faced with undeniable evidence of Peter's fraud and the company's dependence on my contracts, had no choice but to accept my terms. By sunset it was done. Peter was out. Uncle Harold had been forced into early retirement. And Mason Technologies would be restructured under my oversight. The family empire they thought I wasn't qualified to join would now answer to me. My assistant brought in a bottle of champagne as the papers were signed. Congratulations on your hostile takeover. Not hostile, I corrected, watching through my window as Peter and Uncle Harold cleared out their offices. Just business. Something they assured me I'd never understand. I picked up my phone, still buzzing with family messages, and typed a single response to the group chat. Don't worry about the family name. Mason Technologies is in qualified hands now. Then I turned back to my window, watching the sun set on my expanded empire. Sometimes success isn't about getting the job you wanted. It's about building something bigger than they ever imagined you could. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't getting even. It's becoming their boss. Uncle Harold had been right about one thing: I wasn't qualified to work at Mason Technologies. I was qualified to own it. This is where our story comes to end. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks to all for your support.